introduction. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. And the puja is coming along, and I think we are already enjoying the festivities. This vibe is totally amazing. So, we are back with another workshop, Get Set Python. This time, this is a 3-day event where we will be walking through all the basics of Python, all the basics of programming, especially for people who don't have a programming background, but they want to learn something, but they are not sure where to get started. Or if you are someone who has been, learning Python but got stuck somewhere and they left it in middle and they don't know how to resume it, so you can be here as well. And for people who know Python and they just want to brush up their concepts, you are at the right place again. So thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you so much for investing your time. I am sure that if you stick with us in these 3 days, you would learn a lot, and we will be also building a project. But before even we get started, I would like to invite a team from my side, that is the game development team. They would like to share some news with you guys. They would like to walk you through some things that they have to say. So, over to you, game development team.
Yes. Good morning, all of you. I am Arghadip Chakraborty, second year student of TIB. And my teammates are Orchishman, Shutoshi, Harikrishna, and Akash. We are the game dev mentors of Google Developer Student Club of our college. So from today, your Python event is about to start. After this 3 days workshop, I am sure that you will have a clear idea on Python. So, and within a span of few days, we will take a session on game development using Python. So this session and the next session is related to each other. Not only Pygames development, we will rather focus on 3D game development using several game engines. I know most of you like playing games. We will show you how to make these games. You will also get a chance to develop games and work in game development projects with us in the upcoming sessions. So, if you are interested in game development, be with us in the upcoming exciting sessions on game development. Now, please focus on this Python learning event. Thank you.
So I have a question, Argodeep. So the game development workshop that we are going to have after this, that is the follow-up of this workshop. So Python is a prerequisite of that workshop, right?
Yes, 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 of
Okay.
course.
And that is why we have, scheduled it in a way so that you can first learn Python and then go in and, start with game development so that none of you face any issues. And if you just follow the schedule that we are trying to create here, then you won't face any problem in any of the workshops that we are going to have. You will learn a lot. So I think that was it from the game development team. Thank you so much, everyone, for walking us through what we are going to do next. Now it's time that I introduce you to our speaker, Shivam Kumar. Shivam Kumar is intern at Default. He is an automation intern. He will be the instructor for us for these 3 days. He will be walking us through programming basics. He will be walking us through also the Python basics and also help us in building a project. So over to you, Shivam. Thank you so much for joining and deciding to mentor us through this workshop, and I hope that you will have fun with us as well. So, Shivam, over to you.
Yeah, thanks Neha for that warm introduction. Hello everyone. I would like to officially welcome you all to this session, and I'm really excited to get started. So, first of all, can anyone just tell me if my voice is properly audible and it's clear? Okay, thanks, Argadeep and Amit. Um, so, Let me just start by giving an introduction of myself, even though Neha has already introduced me. I work at Default as an automation intern, and I'm still a fourth year student yeah, in engineering. So I'll just share my screen, and then we can get started.
Okay, so Shivam, before meanwhile you set up the screen and everything, can you tell us about what are the features of this? You know, what we are going to do? Are we going to code along?
Yeah, so I was about to get to that. So we have this. Okay, can I get back to you now about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so first I'll start by telling you all about the agenda today. So what we have on the agenda is first we'll go through all the programming basics. That's what's programming, why do we program, why is it necessary, and then I'll take you through the Python basics and about generally about Python. Why is it good? Why do we use Python? So it's gonna be fun. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and also it's okay if you call me by my name. You don't have to necessarily call me sir or bhaiya. It's up to you. Okay, so we're all set up. So let's start. So now, what is programming? So programming is basically when we want our computer to do something. So we'll just give them some instructions. So the thing that computers are good at is that they're good at doing repetitive tasks. They don't get tired like humans, and they are very fast. So programming is basically we give the instructions to a computer, and they perform that task. So first we'll just go through the computer architecture, what it looks like. So here we have a computer architecture. So the way we interact with computers is through input and output devices. So we provide the input, it goes to the software, and this is the part that we are dealing with, the software. So we use programming languages to build softwares that can interact with the input and output devices and process that information to the CPU. And the way CPU accesses this information is through the main memory. So every command that we give to the software, that is stored in the main memory, and that is then accessed by the CPU, and then the CPU returns it to the input or output device. And in between we have the network and the secondary memory. That's nothing but your hard disk, and main memory is the random access memory. That's the RAM. So this is how a computer works. Um, okay, so now what is a computer language? We are talking about programming. We are talking about Python. So what is a computer language? So we can think of computer language as we can sort of build an analogy between the languages that we use like Hindi, English, and between Python or C. So the way we set up this analogy is that every language has it has words, right? So the words mean something, And first we need to map these words to what they mean. And once we know what they mean, we can sort of build sentences and interact with each other. So it's the same thing with any programming language as well. So we have certain keywords that mean something to the computer, and we use those keywords to build a language to interact with the computer. So that's how programming languages work. Then okay, now we'll start with Python. So what is Python? So as you can see in this slide, also you can just read, but I'll just take you through this. So Python is a general purpose programming language, or we can also call it a scripting language. I'll come back to that later, why it's called a scripting language. So it is a high level language. That means that humans can understand it. So uh, uh, yeah, and also that it's an interpreted language. We'll come back to that. What's an interpreter and compiler? What's a compiler? We'll just come back to that. You don't have to worry about all this. We're just trying to get a feel of what is programming and what it has to do with this. Okay, with that out of the way, so what are the Python features? So the thing I love the most about Python is that it's very easy to learn and use. It's almost like writing English. So the 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 hardest part of a programmer is building the code. I mean, building the logic, and that's what Python is about. That you can focus on building the logic and not on the syntax and the rules and other stuff. So it's very easy to write and understand. Then of course it's open source. For those of you who don't know what's open source, that means that it's open to redistribute and to develop on your own. So you can just take the Python source code and you can modify it, and you can license it under your own name. Then it has a large standard library. That is, it has a large support for the different features and functions that can be incorporated into whatever you build, be it front end, be it back end. Then it has large community support. That's where I learned Python from the community. Then other stuff, I don't think you have to worry about that. But it's cross-platform. You can code it on Windows, you can code it on Linux, and it supports the platform libraries as well, that you can build any app or any stuff that runs on any platforms. Okay, so Python was the other programming languages. So these are, it's as I said, it's very user friendly and programmer friendly. It is very easy to understand. Then there are like, we can literally build anything in Python. It's so flexible and it's so open that you can build anything on that. The only downside is that it's slow, and the reason it is slow is that because it is an interpreted language. That means that every code that you write in Python, it is executed line by line, and due to that, every line, since because it is executed line by line, each line is first interpreted to the computer, then it is executed, and then it goes to the next line. So it is very different from traditional languages like C and C++, where the compiler just runs through the program at once, and then it generates an output. So that is the only downside to Python, is that it's slow. But as you'll see, it's to humans, it's still like it's very fast. It's slow only compared to C and C++. Okay, so now that we are done with the boring stuff, we'll start our first hands-on exercise. That is, we'll set up Python for all you guys. So the way we do that is, I'm going to tell you three ways that we can set Python up. So the easiest way is to just go to Colab. Just search Colab on Google, and there's this link, colab.research.google.com. So just click on that, and we'll be done with this. So I want all of you guys to do this, and then we can proceed.
Sir,
Yeah, Somnath, please tell me.
sir, why Python runs slow?
Okay, yeah. So okay, I'll just take you through the basic of that. The thing is, the programming language Python, it is an interpreted language. Okay, so we have basically two. So we write programs in the computer, right? But the computer can understand English language or whatever we write. So we need a medium that explains what we are writing to the CPU. So that is done through either compiler or an interpreter. So in C and C++, we have compiler, but in Python, we have interpreter. So what the compiler does is, suppose we have some lines of code. These are the lines of code. So the compiler will run through all these codes and it will generate an output. Okay, output. Then this output is then what is run by the CPU. But in Python, we have an interpreter. What an interpreter does is it will run through each line. So first it will execute this line, and then after this line is executed, it will go to the next line, and it goes like that. So for each line, it has to interpret to the CPU. So that takes time, right? The compiler does all this at once, all the lines of code at once, but the interpreter goes through the lines one by one. And for each line, it has to interpret the code. It has to make the CPU understand. So there's way overhead time, and that's how Python is slower than other programming languages like C and C++. So, Somnath, have I cleared it out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so Neha has provided the link in the chat also. So you can just go to the chat, I mean to the link, and you'll be greeted by this screen. So don't worry about this. Just go to File and click on New Notebook. The only downside to Google Colab is that it's kind of slow because every command that you give, it is first taken to the server, then it is processed at their servers, then it is returned. So it's kind of slow, but it'll do. It's good enough.
Sir,
And the yeah, yeah. One sec.
so can I download a Jupyter notebook?
Sure, sure, Somnath. If you know how to do that, that's also fine. But I would suggest that you use Google Colab.
The only reason we are suggesting you to do in Google Colab because a lot of you don't have it pre-installed, so the problem will would be that it would take some time. So if you have already installed it, then you are good to go. You can do it
Yeah.
on that as well. Otherwise, go with Colab to save time and code along also.
Okay, so this was the first way that you can use Python. I'm gonna show you two other ways. We're gonna go to python.org. So this is the official website of development of Python and everything related to that. So just go to downloads. You can go, then you can choose a platform, Windows, Mac OS, and other platforms. So I'm using Linux, so I'll go to other platforms. And here they have, okay, this is, okay, since most of you are using Windows, we'll just go to Windows. And just you can just download from here, Python release for Windows. The latest version is 3.10. So once you download that, just install that. You'll get an exe file, and once you have installed that, just open command line, and you can just type Python, and you'll have the Python interpreter running. So this is another way that you can run Python, and the most recommended and the easiest way to run Python would be to download the JetBrains IDE, that is Pycharm. So just search JetBrains Pycharm, and yeah, go to download Pycharm. It's available on all platforms from Mac to Windows and Linux. So you can just download that, and you'll have this something like this. Then you can just go to a new file, sh- and you can create a new project. So the advantage of PyCharm is that it is an IDE. So an IDE is a integrated development environment, and it has everything from the text editor, uh, the place that you'll be writing your code, to the console where you can execute, and it also has a built-in run function. So you can just click on this and it'll run. So this is all that you can try later. For now, we'll be using Google Colab since it's very convenient for everyone. So I hope that everyone has opened Google Colab in their browser. Just you can just let me know in the chat that you're done and we're good to go. Okay, Somnath is done. What about others?
Sir, one more query. Sir,
Yeah, Somnath, tell me.
sir, here we use Python. For
Yeah.
Python is user friendly, okay, but
Hmm.
Python take time. Whenever we appear for competitive competition, then we
Yeah.
have facing some problem.
Yeah,
Then what?
Somnath. I get it what you're saying. So
Uh,
yeah, so we have established that Python is slower than C and C++, right? So, but in competitive programming, like that there's hard competition. They not only have to build the logic, but they also have to build a program that runs faster than the others. So in competitive programming, so we'll see something like they'll be coding in C and C++. So their first their 50 first lines would be like hash include.
stdio.h.
Yeah, stdio is very foremost. Then after that, they'll include like some 50 other header files just that's pre-processing. That's not even building logic. So that's why they use C and C++ in competitive programming, is that because they want faster execution. If suppose you are using Python, Python is just slower, like you're not going to win anything. So it doesn't matter actually which programming language you are using. The reason we are using Python here is because it's very flexible and it's easy to use. Somnath, am I clear?
Yes, sir, you are clear.
Yeah. Okay, so Tamal doesn't have a PC, so it's not working in mobile. Okay, that's sad. Yeah, Piyush, you can do it on VS Code as well. Actually, I used to use VS Code and Atom sometimes too. See, I have Visual Studio Code installed here. So I'll just show you how you run anything on Visual Code as well. Since
Is there anyone who is still left to do, any installation or something? Or are you guys ready for the exercise?
Yes, Neha.
Okay, so I
okay,
think you can continue, Shivam.
yeah. So see, I have here I have egdl.py file. .py files are the Python extensions that you have to give so that the code the IDE can understand that it's a Python code. And once you have done this, you can once you have saved the program in an editor, you can just go to your command line and you can give this command Python and the name of your file .py command. You just press enter and it basically runs. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start with the very first, with your maybe probably your very first Python program. So before that, I'll just go through some other basics like variables. I'll go through variables. So what's a variable? So we know from seventh grade mathematics that a variable is anything that can store a value, and its value can vary. So just like in maths, like we have x equals to 4y, suppose we have this. So this means that x can have various values, and that is represented using this equation, the range of values that x can have. So maybe it can have 0, maybe it can have 1, 2, like that, maybe up to infinity. So the same concept follows here. So variables are something that in which we can store values, and that values can change. Okay, so we are done with variables. So let's just try to declare a variable in Python. Maybe we want to store some value. So the way we do that is we put x equals to suppose 45. We want to store 45. So let's just run this and see what happens. You can do this on your Google Colab as well. Yeah, so it shows a tick here. That means that it has executed this statement. The Python interpreter has read this statement, and it has created a variable x, and it has stored 45 in it. So the way this works is as soon as I give this command x is equal to 45, Python will go to the memory. It will create a memory space. It will name it x. So x is the name of the memory, and it will store 45 in it. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And now you may ask, sir, how do I know that it's actually stored? So for that we can just give a command and we can tell print x. So that is as simple as just to we want to know what's stored in x, right? So we'll just give this command print x and it will show us what's stored in x. Yeah, so it shows 45 here. So that means that 45 is stored in x. Okay, so now we'll look into the types of variables that Python can support. So to know what's the type of variable, we can just give the command type of x. So let's see what happens when we run this. So it says int. Int means integer. So 45 is an integer, right? So when we say type of x, the Python tells us that it's an integer. So yeah, so type of x is integer. And then so what if it wasn't an integer? So integers, we know that they are numbers that come on. We know that they are negative and positive whole numbers that are integers. So what if I give 45.5? This is not an integer, right? This is a fraction. So let's see what Python says here. So it says float. So in Python we have float and integers. So floating point numbers are numbers which are fractions basically. The reason we need a distinction between integers and floating point numbers is that during the way these values are interpreted in the memory is it's not intuitive. So it's very hard for humans to understand it. But I'll try to get you a feel of how it is represented. So computer doesn't understand English language. It only understands bits and bytes, and that is 0 and 1. And even in that, the way it understands 0 and 1 is through voltages. So suppose we have a transistor and we give it an on, we switch it on. So that is represented as 1, the on, and off is represented as 0. So suppose we map the 0 and 1 as true and false. 0 is true. Uh, okay, takes 0 as false and 1 is true. So we have mapped 0 and 1 as true and false. So so the computer can understand that if it is given a voltage that is on, it is true, and if it is given a voltage off, it is false. So this is the very essence of how computers understand. So when we take this to the next level, we're going to have bits like 0 1 0 1 1 0 5, not 5, like one, only ones and zeros. Yeah, so this is a byte. Yeah, so this is a byte. It consists of 8 bits, and this is how the computer will represent anything. We give the computer anything, and it represents it in zeros and ones. And you don't have to worry how it is represented internally. I just wanted to give you a feel of how the computer it doesn't understand us. It's very different. Yeah, so getting back to it, so floating point and integers have a very different way of being represented in the memory places like this. So that's why we need a distinction between integers and float. Okay, so we have the two data types, that is float and int. So now we'll try to this is very related to mathematics. So we'll try to give something that's more human and that you can understand better. So we're gonna give it, hi, I am Shivam. So suppose I want to give this so yeah, so I'll just run it. uh, Now this time it says that the type is str. So what does
String
str
value.
mean?
String.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Sir,
Who was that? Yeah, yeah, Santosh, please tell me.
No, sir, I am not telling. Somnath was telling.
Okay, yeah, Somnath.
sir.
Yeah,
So here the type of X is string, but
yeah,
why it does not show character? Because
yeah.
H is character.
Yeah, so character, we have. Suppose I write, I just write H, or basically any key on the keyboard. That's what character is. But if I run this, I'm still gonna get str here. The reason is that Python has dropped the concept of characters and strings. It has just developed the concept of strings. So anything that's within the commas, be it single comma or double quotes, it is still a string. So in C and C++, we used to have characters and strings. It's actually an upgrade from C in a way that we don't have to deal with characters. It's easier for programmers to just write a string, right? Why do you have to introduce an extra concept of characters? So Python developers, they have just dropped the concept of characters, and they have introduced strings. So anything that's within double quotes or single quotes is a string. So string is nothing but it is a sequence of characters. It can be sequence of any characters. It can make sense or it can make sense. It can be random, and so that's how we have strings in Python. Suppose I give empty. Let's see what happens. It's not going to print anything because I didn't give anything here, but it still tells us that it is a string because we have double quotes here. So we are done with strings, integers, and floating point numbers. Then we have none type. Suppose I give here none type. Okay, that's an error. One sec. Yeah. So the next data type we're talking about is Boolean. So like I was explaining here that one can represent true and zero can represent false. So these are just true false values, either zero or one. So in Python we represent that by true and false. So that's why the type here is bool. That means Boolean. Okay, so we're done with data types. Next we have, okay, let's just do some simple operations uh, on variables. Okay, so I'll start by giving a value x. We'll take it as 30. I'll take y as 50. Now suppose I want to add these two. So the way I'm gonna do is this. Do that is by using the operator plus, and I'm gonna put y here. So what this means to the compiler is plus is an operator. So operator is nothing but it is a special character that means something to the Python interpreter. So as soon as it sees plus, it knows that it has to add x and y. So it'll add x and y and it'll keep it in its memory. It's also printing here, even though it's not supposed to, but it is built in the functionality is built in the in the Google Colab so that you don't have to type this print just to print the value. So as soon as I hit this, it prints 80. That is the addition. Okay, the other operators that we have are multiplication, that is represented by star. Then we have division, that is represented by a forward slash. Then we have subtraction, of course,
Sir, it is
with the hyphen.
arithmetic operator or operator.
Somnath, I didn't get that. Can you please repeat?
Sir, the operator name is, there is many types of operator.
Yeah. So we have arithmetic operators. We have conditional operators. These are the two types of operators that we'll be dealing with here. There are many others, but like the comma operator, and but I'll get to them as we see. I mean, as I'm illustrating, I'll explain that it's more intuitive to you, right? If I just keep speaking theory, it's not gonna help you. If I explain it while I'm doing it, I think it'll make more sense to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are the four
Shivam,
arithmetic operators. Yeah,
sorry to
yeah, Nayan.
interrupt you. Can you
Yeah.
please increase the size because I don't think it's visible to everyone. It would be
Okay.
better if you just.
Okay. Is this better?
Uh, you can zoom out a little.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
this.
better, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I hope that's visible now. Yeah. So the four arithmetic operators, and we also have this modulus. So the modulus operator, it returns. Okay, we'll just run it, and first we'll see what happens. Okay, so it's returning 30. It's very weird that it's returning 30. What the
So can you?
modulus?
Yes, exactly. I
Yeah.
was asking the same question. Can anyone tell me or tell us what is it doing actually? Can you just please?
It is printing out the reminder value.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
that's very correct. Yeah. So as soon
Thank
as I
you.
give x mod y, that what the computer understands is it understands first it will divide 30 by 50. So we know that 30 by 50 is a fraction. Uh, what it's gonna do is it'll still divide 30 by 50, and it'll do traditional division like this. Now 50 can't go once, otherwise it's gonna be bigger than 30, right? 50 into 1 is 50. So it's gonna go 0 times. So this will be minus 0 and we'll get 30. So we get the remainder 30, and that's what is being printed here. So the remainder is being printed and that's 30. Okay, suppose I change the values. I give 8 here and I give 2 here. Let's see what happens now. So now we get 0 because 8 is
Zero
totally
divided.
divisible. Yeah, Somnath. It's divisible by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, but we are not getting 4. We'll get the remainder. So 8 by 2 is equal to 4, but the remainder is 0, and that's what we are getting. Um, yeah. So these are the four operators. So using this, let's try to build a basic calculator. Um, okay, so I want you all to code this with me. So first I'm going to write the program, and then you can I'll give you time and you can follow and you can try to run it yourself. And anywhere at any point, if you have any doubt, I should have brought this uh, before the session, but at any point you have a doubt, you can just ping me on chat, or you can just unmute yourself and you can tell me. Okay. Um, so okay, but we need 1 second, guys. Yeah. So we'll put x equals to 10 and we'll put y is equal to 2. And we'll perform the all the four operations on these. Okay. So first we'll do x plus y, then we'll do x minus y, then we'll do x multiplied by y, and we'll do x divided by y. And x modulus y. Okay, let's run and see what happens. Okay, it's printing 0. Yeah, so the reason if we give more than one statement without print, it's just gonna give the last the output of the last statement. So that's why you have to give print everywhere. Don't worry about print right now. What does print mean? I'll come back to that later. Right now um, we're just trying to have some operations done, like some real stuff done from Python. Yeah, yeah. So as we can see, x plus y is equal to 12. Then x minus y is equal to 8, and x into y is 20, that is 10 times 2. Then x divided by y is 5, and x mod y is 0 because there's no remainder there. Okay, so can anyone tell me why we have 5.0 here and other places we have only we have whole numbers here, but here we have 5.0. Does anyone have any idea? Maybe Somnath.
Sir, can I say in Bengali?
Yeah, sure, you can.
স্যার এখানে যখন ভাগ হচ্ছে তখন হলো তোমার 5-এর সাথে মানে 5 পূর্ণ হওয়ার পর মানে আর যাচ্ছে না। সো যখন কোনো কিছু পূর্ণ হয় তখন 5.0 দিয়েই হয়, মানে 5 যখন আমরা পূর্ণ করি কোনো ভাগ করি তার সাথে সাথে 0.0টাও অ্যাড হয় ভাগের ক্ষেত্রে।
Okay, Somnath. Let's see what Neha has to say about that. I'm sorry, but I don't know Bengali, so.
Yeah, Prajwal, can you help him with translating?
Somat, can you repeat the question once again?
No,
Prajwal,
it's fine.
আমি I just say that whenever we divide something, then যখন যেটা ডিভাইড করি তখন সেটার সাথে 0.0 মানে 5, যখন কোনো কিছু সম্পূর্ণভাবে ডিভাইড হয়ে যায় তখন তার সাথে 0.0 অ্যাড হয়। এই ক্ষেত্রে এক্স ডিভাইড বাই ওয়াই হয়েছে, তো 10/2, 10 ডিভাইডেড বাই 2, তো নো রিমাইন্ডার, তো 0.0 সাথে সাথে অ্যাড হয়ে যায়, এটাই বললাম।
So, according to Somnath, he's saying that if we divide something by something, so since it is completely getting divided, that is, there are no remainders. That is why the point zero is getting added to it. So,
Right,
what do you have to
right.
say about it?
Okay, so yeah, Somnath, I think what you're right about this. The thing is, I'm kind of surprised myself that you are getting 5.0 here. But what I can think about this is it's because the it has been coded in Python such that we get it this way, that the division operator should return a float. I think that's why it is returning this. But we can easily fix this by giving this command. So if we give the int, it will only return the integer value. So yeah, so now we have now we have 5 here instead of 5.0.
Can I say one thing?
Sir?
Yeah, Shramnath, please tell me.
Because sir, in C or C++, we inform আগেই আমরা সেটাকে ইনফর্ম করে দেই। এই জন্য ইন্ট ভ্যালু যদি চাই তাহলে ইন্টটা দিয়ে দিই, বা ফ্লোট চাইলে ফ্লোটটা লিখে দিই। সাপোজ প্রিন্টএফ
Yeah, I can
परसेंटेज
understand.
इन
Yeah. So Somnath,
दैट्स व्हाई
yeah,
हियर
yeah.
दैट्स व्हाई पाइथन में जब हम कुछ नहीं लिखेंगे ना तो वो फ्लोट ही निकल आएगा।
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think you're on the right point here. So Somnath has made a great point that what he's trying to tell is that the Python interpreter is trying to do the type conversion itself. So because we are dividing two integers, it is converting the integer type to floating type, and that's how we are getting 5.0. But in C and C++, that type conversion usually it has to be done manually. But I think for convenience, the Python is doing that type conversion for us on its own.
Sir,
Hello.
Yeah. Please tell me.
yes, sir. In the print statement where you have given integer,
Yeah.
Second last, yes. In that position, if we give double division, no, 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 no.
Okay, double division. Okay,
हाँ हाँ,
like
तो
this. Yeah.
इसमें तो सर हम हमारा वो इंटीजर ही आएगा ना शिपिंग, हाँ यही मैं कह रहा
Okay. Okay. I didn't know about this. Thanks a lot.
था.
I've never had to use this, but okay. I think this.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Sir, it always return in uh, integer. Yes sir.
Okay. So double division means that it'll return integer.
Yes sir.
Okay. That's good to know. Thanks a lot, Rudran.
Welcome sir.
Okay. Now we are done with the operators. I hope you all have executed this in your collab. If you have done that, just please type yes in the chats. Let's see. Okay. That's
Also, up
cool.
to here, is there anyone who is facing any issues till whatever has been done till now? Is there any questions?
Yeah, this is really basic. If you clear all this, don't worry about the print statement, the int statement. Except that if you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, apparently not, so that's great. Okay, we'll get underway and we'll go to the we'll let's talk about precedence. Okay, so suppose I have a set of operations. Maybe I have x plus y, but then I also have a multiplication in there, 2 maybe. Then I have a division there by 2 and then no 3, and then I have exponentiation. So I didn't talk about this, but a double star means exponentiation. That means whatever value we get up
Power,
to here, yeah, power,
power of.
exactly. Exponentiation or yeah, power of, yeah, that's right. So suppose I have 2 to the power of 4. So that's how I write it in Python. So I write 2 star star 4, that means 2 to the power 4, right? So I have this statement. So now how do I know where to start executing? Maybe you want to divide 2 by 3 first, or maybe you want to do y star 2, or maybe you want to do x plus y first. So how do we know where to start? So for this we have what we call as PEMDAS. You might have heard about this in mathematics as well. So what PEMDAS does is it gives us the order of evaluation. So P stands for power. So first we need to evaluate exponentiation. So whatever 3 star 5 is, oh shit, yeah. So 3 star, first we'll, no, P is, E is exponentiation, and P is,
Yeah, I
uh,
think it's Badmas.
Sir,
okay.
bid mass bracket.
Please
Yeah,
parenthesis.
yeah, yeah, parenthesis. Yeah, P is
Yeah.
parenthesis. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you guys are talking about board mass, right? Yeah, even board mass can be used, but board mass is it doesn't have exponentiation in here. So that's
Sir,
why
we can use
I'm trying to
bid
use PEMDAS here. You can use
mass.
either. They're both the same. Okay, they both give the right order of evaluation, but I would suggest that you use PEMDAS because it has exponentiation in it. So first we're gonna open the parenthesis if any. We don't, since we don't have any parenthesis here, we're not gonna look into that. So in case you don't know what parenthesis is just a set of brackets. So suppose I had brackets here before 3 and after 5. So that would mean that I would evaluate this first and then I would go to exponentiation. So since we didn't have it here, we're just going to leave it. Next is exponentiation. So it will calculate 3 to the power 5 first. Then m stands multiplication. So we have multiplication here. So we'll have 3 to the power 5 and we'll have y to the power 2, y into 2 evaluated. So what is it going to give us? So we'll have x plus, then y star 2 is 4, and then we have a division there, and 3 to the power 5 is it's kind of, maybe it's a big number. I don't want to calculate right now. Let's just say 100. Okay, then yeah, then there is division. So division we have after 4. So whatever we get 4 by 100, we'll get 4 by 100, we'll get some value. And then we have addition and subtraction. And then it'll suppose 4 by 100 is some value, say zero point 0.5. So the last operation it'll do is x plus 5. So that's how it's going to evaluate this expression. I'm just trying to give you the how the calculation is being done. Now we'll just run it and see what we get. Yeah, so we are getting a floating point number 10.01 something. That's because we are putting a division here. Okay, so precedence is done. Now, um, yeah, so now let's talk about the structure of a program. So what are we trying to achieve with the program? Why are we writing a program? So I already talked about why are we writing a program. It's because we want it to do something. So suppose I have many projects here. I'll just open a project and illustrate to you what I'm trying to do there. Yeah. So this is a Python program. It's kind of it may look scary for now, like it's very long, but why I've written is this because I am trying to achieve a purpose here, and the purpose here was to get some data from a file. So this program is getting some data from a file. Similarly, we're going to write a program that's going to print something. So whenever you're learning a new programming language, the the first program that anyone writes is a hello world program. So this is a very basic program that's just gonna say hello world. Now I'm gonna explain how it's working. So the Python interpreter reads this line and it sees that I've written print, and print yeah, it says here it's a built-in function print. So that means that print is a built-in function. Now what's a function? A function is just a set of statements that's trying to achieve a purpose, right? So print is a function that can do something for us, and we are calling that function print. We are saying print, please do this for me. So print knows what it has to do, and it prints this for us. That's here. It has executed and it says hello world. So print is a
Sir,
function. Yeah,
sir, I
Somnath.
mean, sir, I mean, print is a predefined function, like
Yeah, it's
see.
predefined. Yes. And yeah, and the good thing about Python is you don't even have to call stdi or anything.
Printf.
It's just hard coded into the standard library of Python, that you don't have to call anything for the basic functions. Of course, we'll get into the advanced functions when you do have to import other libraries like OS and other stuff, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, Somnath, tell me, is there anything else?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry
So,
to interrupt you, Shivam, but someone
yeah,
is
no.
asking what if we use same operator multiple times?
Okay. Mm, yeah. So we'll just do that. We'll use multiple times. 2 plus plus 5. Let's see. Plus plus is actually an increment operator, but it's still adding up apparently.
I think he was asking if we have same operators, like, in between, like if we have 2 plus 5 plus 7. I think this was
Okay,
the question.
in that case, you're wondering how the order of evaluation holds up, right?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, it actually doesn't matter because addition and subtraction, they have equal precedence. So that means that you can evaluate anyone at any time. Suppose I write 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus that's equal to 8. Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you start evaluating, since plus has every operator here is plus. So everyone will have the same precedence. So you can start anywhere. You can do 9 plus 7 first, or you can do 7 plus 4 first, or you can basically start anywhere and it'll still give you the same answer. So that's not something you have to worry about. It's the precedence just it clearly specifies that if the operator is same, that you can start and end anywhere. It's only when you have many operators like parenthesis and multiplication division that you have to care about PEMDAS and BODMAS. Yeah. So we were talking about. I actually forgot what. Can anyone just tell me what we were talking about?
I think you will walking us through the inbuilt functions of
Yeah.
Print.
So we were talking about print. Yeah, print. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. So yeah, so print is a function that means something to Python, and when we are calling it, the Python goes into its files. It searches what this print means, and it will do whatever we give it in here. Okay, so this set of brackets, that is the parenthesis, it represents the parameters. So what is a parameter? A parameter is nothing but it is something that we are giving to the function. Okay, so the way I want you to understand this is, suppose I'll give you a good analogy. Okay, suppose I want to prepare tea. Okay, so for preparing tea, I'm gonna need sugar, I'm gonna need water, I'm gonna need a gas stove. So I'm gonna use all that and I'm gonna prepare tea. So I want you to think of the ingredients as the parameter. So whatever I give inside the parenthesis, that is the ingredients that I'm going to use to prepare the tea. So suppose I need tea leaves. So tea leaves, then I need water and I need sugar. Okay, so I need all this, and using all this, uh, suppose I'm asking Neha to prepare the tea for me. So so Neha is going to take all this the ingredients, and she's going to return me the tea. Right. So that output that Neha is giving, that is the T, is the output of the function as well. So if I give print 20, so I'm giving these are the ingredients. Okay, this is Neha, print is Neha, and when I execute this, she's gonna return me the what I want. I wanted T, right? So she's returning me 20 here. I'm trying to set an analogy so you can better understand what is what a function is and what are parameters and what is a function trying to do. Yeah. So that's how functions work. So we have lots of built-in functions in Python. Print is one a built-in function. Then we have int that is used to convert any data type into int. Suppose I type 4.5. So 4.5, as we discussed, is a fraction. It is a floating point number. But when we run this, it's gonna print 4. That is the integer value, and that was the function of the function int, that it has to return me the integer value of whatever I give him. Okay, so there are many other functions like this. There's str, then we also have float. Then there are different libraries in which we can have math dot something. We can have math dot sqrt. This is also a function. So there are many different functions in
Map,
Python. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please tell me.
sir, map, map,
Map. Okay, yeah, map is also a function. Yeah, map. Okay. Okay, so we are done with functions now. Since we talked about strings, let's try to do some string operations. Since
Shivam.
strings
Before
are,
we move forward, can you, in just
yeah,
one line, sum up what is a function?
yeah. So, okay, so function in Python, or yeah, function in Python, it is a set of instructions, or you can say it is a block of code that is trying to achieve a specific purpose. Okay, so function is a block of code that is trying to achieve a specific purpose. So print here is a function, and its purpose is to print something, to give an output. Okay, so that is a function, and the block of code that I'm talking about, that block of code is present in the Python in the source code of Python. So function is a a block of code that is trying to achieve a purpose. Okay, with that out of the way,
So what can I say which used perform a particular task?
yeah, particular task.
If we say the function is a set of instruction that which we use to complete a task.
Yeah, that's actually a more clear definition. You can define it that way as well. But what I would suggest is that definitions are it's okay to learn for exams, but here I'm trying to get you a feel of what it actually means. So I'm trying to use a much simpler and more lucid, a language that's more clear and more
Yes.
understandable to you. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the actual definition that you said. Yeah, that was correct. Okay, so now we'll talk about input and output. So now suppose I want to enough with the calculation and stuff. Now suppose I want Python to store something for me and read something for me. Maybe I want to give some input from the keyboard. And I want it to do something with it and return me with something else. So the way we do this in Python is we use the function input. So input is a function that will take the input from your keyboard. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this. So the syntax for this is x is equal to input. So x is just some variable that can store anything, and input is the function that will take input from our keyboard. So let's run this, see what happens. Yeah, so it's asking for an input here. See, so I need to type something. So I'll just write hi. So I've given it, and the collab is it's printing it.
So
Um,
please repeat again what I said. What
yes,
is
yeah. So I've given the input function, and as you could see, it is here. It is asking for the input. So I'll just print hi. I mean, I'll just type hi. So when I type this and I press enter, what happens is it takes the input and it'll store it into X. So we'll have input, we'll have X. And when I execute that command, it will come and sit here. It will, the hi will come and it'll sit here. Okay. So that's how it's working. And Colab is also printing it. For some reason, they've built this functionality for better understanding, so that you don't have to give print statement, like I said earlier. Okay, so that's how input function works. Now, suppose I want to give a prompt before the user entering, because when I ran this statement, it just asked for input. It didn't say anything. Suppose I want it to say enter your name, so I can just pass an argument or a parameter inside input function that says enter your name. So it's gonna enter. So it's gonna ask me to enter my name. See, here it's asking enter your name. So I'm just gonna write Shivam. So this time Shivam goes and sets in X instead of the high. This time we have Shivam, and we don't have a space here, so you can just give space. Yeah, this time it's gonna look better. Yeah. Okay, I gave wrong. I gave space at the wrong place. Yeah. Now it's gonna work better. Yeah, perfect. So that's how input and output works. This is very basic stuff. Now suppose I
yes.
want to, yeah, Somnath.
So here which argument we use, actual or formal?
Okay, in Python we don't have any concept for actual and formal parameters like in C, but you because that's the reason is this is an inbuilt function. Okay, so you're not actually writing the definition for this function. When you are writing a user-defined function, which we'll come to later, at that time you can talk about actual and formal parameters. But even there, as much as I know, the we are using formal parameters there as well, because it doesn't matter what you which parameters are written in the function. In Python, it's very it's you don't have to the worry about the syntax and and all the formalities like actual and formal parameters. You don't have to learn all this all that. You can just you can just have fun with it, and you can keep on learning, and that's how it works. So
Okay,
for
sir.
guys who yeah for guys who don't like syntax and like tedious long programs where you have to give semicolon after every line. So Python is a great programming. It's really flexible, and you can just have fun with it. And Python is a type of language which doesn't want to give you errors. It's like if you give it something that doesn't make sense, it'll try its best to make sense out of it. And only if it still can make sense of it, it'll give you an error. So it's a very user friendly programming language, you can say. Yeah. So now we have stored something in X. Now let's see if we'll try to do some operations with X. So suppose I want to print my second name with my name. So I can just say X, since X is basically my name right now. Sh- Yeah. So I can just say X plus, and I can give another string Kumar. So that'll give my full name. That is, yeah, Shivam Kumar. So the as I said, Python doesn't want to give you errors, even though plus is an arithmetic operator and it is supposed to add numbers. But plus can be thought of as a means of you know keeping stuff together, right? Adding stuff. We can think of this as adding Kumar to X, right? So that's what it is doing. It is adding Kumar to already existing X. So it's giving me Shivam Kumar. Yeah, so Python doesn't want to give you errors, so it just interprets this plus as a concatenating operator, that is adding strings. Okay, now suppose I want to reverse my name. I want to print something weird, so I can just say reverse of X. Oh shit, that's an error. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, we'll talk a bit about index. Suppose this is the variable X where I have stored my name. So Shivam, yeah. Okay, now suppose I only want to print this part. I don't want to print HIVAM. I just want to print S. So when a variable or a string is stored in memory, each part of that memory is referenced by an index. So the index of these memory locations is 0, 1, 2, 3. Remember, always in any programming language, the index always starts with 0 and not with 1. So the zeroth index of this variable X is S. So if I give yeah, if I give here print X of 0, it's just gonna print S. Yeah. So these square brackets represent the index of any variable. But if you try to but these only work uh, with variables that are strings or that are arrays. We'll talk about arrays later. So suppose I have y is equal to 3,
Sir,
and I yeah
স্যার জিরো থেকে স্টার্ট হয় বিকজ ইটস এলোকেট উইথ কন্টিগুয়াস মেমোরি লোকেশন এটা অ্যাড হয় স্টেপ বাই স্টেপ প্রসিডিউর হয়
actually, Somnath, the reason it is starting with 0 is because the early computer programmers, they saw that the zeroth bit is actually the value that zero is representing is zero, right? If we had a number here, this would be zero 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 zero. Initially,
Yes.
they're all zero. So this is a zero number. So the way it is represented is 2 to the power 0, right? So the first bit is 0 times and 2 to the power 0, that is 0. So that is the reason we have the index 0 and not 1. We could have the index 1, but it was very convenient for early programmers to have this index as 0. Index is nothing but it's just a reference, it's for our reference. If the Python developers wanted, they could have mapped the indexes from 1, but there's something with 0 that it's like it had to be there because we have zeros and ones in computers. So that's why they started with 0.
Yes,
It
now I
has
understand.
to do more with the referencing and the way memory is represented in memory locations, rather than sequencing and continuous memory location, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if I have a variable that's y and it has an integer value, and if I try to slice it and have an index in this, suppose I write print y of 0. So it's just gonna give me an error. It's gonna say that it doesn't know what. So it, as it said, int object is not subscriptable because y is just a single memory location that has the value 7 in it. Unlike Shivam is a collection of memory locations that is each storing one character. So first location's character is storing s, then h, like that. So that's why we can refer to my name in parts from 0 to up to 6 or 7. But for single memory locations, we can, because there's nothing to reference. There's only a single memory location, and you can't refer to it as y of 0. You just have to say y. That's just how the syntax is. Yeah, so that's about slicing and indexing. Um, okay, so we talked about asking for input here. We got the input. We know how to print. We know the input output operations. Now let's try to talk about control statements, or the flow of control, like how does a program run. So yeah. So suppose I have three integers. I have 3, I have 4, I have 5, and I want to know. Okay, I'll make it more interesting. I'll make it x, y, and z. Now I want to know which of these integers is the greatest. As of now, these are unallocated memory spaces. They don't have any values. So we'll give them some values. Suppose x is equal to 6, okay, 3, and y is equal to 4, and z is equal to 5. So we have x, y, and z that have values 3, 4, and 5 respectively. And now we are going to try to find out which one has the highest value among these. We have an operator in Python that is the greater than and less than. So these operators can be used to check if a value is greater than or less than the other value. Okay, so suppose I check 3 is greater than 4. Let's just check this. So I'll run this. Um, okay. Yeah, so it says false. So how is this working is Python reads this line, and uh, it checks if it asks itself, is 3 greater than 4. So there are only two answers to this. It can either be yes, 3 is greater than 4, or it can be no, 3 is not greater than 4. So if 3 is greater than 4, it would have returned true. So it would just say true, but it's not the case. The 3 is actually less than 4, so it just says false. Now suppose I give here 3 less than 4. This time it's going to say it's true. So this is how conditional statements work in Python. So similarly, I can give here uh, x is greater than y. So it's gonna say false because yeah, because x is 3 and y is 4. So no, there it's not. So it's x is smaller than y, so it returns false. So this is how conditional statements work. Then we also have less than. We also have equal to. How suppose you want to check if two values are equal. So the way you do that is by putting double equal. So remember this single equal to is assignment. That is we are assigning 5 to the z. So single, if you put it one time, that means assignment, and if we put it two times, it is conditional. That means we are trying to check if x and y are equal. So let's check what it says. So it says false. X and y are not equal. And suppose I put here 3 now. Now it's going to say that it's true. So that's how we check equal to and less than, greater than. Then we also have not equal to. So for not equal to, we have to use exclamation mark. So now it's going to check if x is not equal to y. So if x is not equal to y, it's false because they're actually equal. X and y are both 3. So x is not equal to y, that is false. Then guys, give me a sec. I'll be back. Give me one sec. Till then, you can try this program in your own in Google Colab. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I feel that I'm going a bit fast. If can someone tell me if I'm going too fast?
No, you are not going too fast, but I would say after 5 to 6 minutes, can you just, walk us through everything that we have covered in like 2 minutes? That
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
great.
I'll do that. Yeah. So if anyone has any doubt up to this point, please let me know.
Also, if anyone feels that he is going fast, you can also,
Yeah,
you know,
you can tell me, and also uh, if there's anything that you want to ask me, be it regarding Python programming or anything in the technology world, or even maybe something about career, because I can understand that some of you might not have any coding experience, or you might be from different branches, maybe not CS and IS, maybe you're from mechanical. So if there's anything you want to ask me, I can guide you
Sir,
because I yeah
this is totally another topic. Sir,
yeah
why we used Python language generally in data science? क्या है
yeah.
data
So
science
that
में because
yeah
I am
so
working with data science. So
okay, yeah, that's great.
every website, every Wikipedia, I must see that the the data sheet is developed by Python. Most probably
Yes.
almost সব ওখানে Python দিয়েই করা থাকে. Why, sir?
Yeah, so I've worked in data science myself in 2020. So I know what you're talking about. Data science is it's just a um, the world that we live in right now. It's full of data, right? So we are generating so much data like everywhere from Netflix to Facebook. There's like billions and trillions of gigabytes of data. So that data is just being wasted away. So in data science, what we are trying to do is we're trying to use that data to draw some patterns and conclusions that can be used to make better programs and even like there's so much possible, there's so many possibilities that you can do when you have data. That's why most of the Google services are free. So the reason Google services are free is because they're taking your data, and that data is being used for their processing, and that's how they generate revenue. So the data is very important these days. Now coming to the question that why is Python used in data science? It's because data science requires mathematics as well as programming. So uh, a data scientist needs to be a good programmer, and he needs to know the necessary mathematics tools. So we are using Python there because Python is so flexible that we can incorporate so many libraries like NumPy and
Panda.
some NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, yes, and then OpenCV as well. So all these libraries together, they are readily available in Python, so you don't have to code from the scratch. When you have these libraries, you can just start building from up top, and it's very easy to to build anything with these. So there'll be other libraries for other programming languages that can do the same task, but they won't give you that freedom. Again, you have to focus on syntax and so much. With Python, you can just focus on building the logic with such an easy syntax, and it's so easy to understand. So that's how it goes.
Okay,
Okay.
Shivam,
Okay.
thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
and thank you so much for that amazing question, Somnath. We have one more query here that
Yeah.
Rudranil wants to ask that if
Yeah.
he was asking what will be the output if we have x is greater than y is greater than z. What will be the output?
Okay. X is greater than y is greater than z.
Yes.
Okay, so first, the precedence of operators in a single line when you have the same operator is when is from left to right, as I understand it. So first, it's gonna evaluate if x is greater than y. So that's gonna come as false. Now we have a Boolean value here. It's no longer integers. Okay, so we have value here. So Python is gonna evaluate if false is greater than z. So z is integer value, um, and x is greater than y is a Boolean value. So the way this works is um, I'll have to check it once to be sure. Yeah. So now it works in the sense that uh, there's a set of rules that says that how the precedence of if boolean value is greater than an integer value, that's how it goes. So I can put here true now. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so now it gives false. Maybe I can give to be honest, it doesn't make sense, right? How can you check if a boolean value is greater or less than the other boolean value? If I have to make sense of it, I would think of false as 0 and true as 1. Then I would think if is 0 greater than 1. So no, that's not true. So we're just gonna get false because 0 is not greater than 1. Yeah, so we are getting false. So that's how it goes. The only question is, what if we are comparing a boolean and an integer value? Then even there, I think 5 is converted to some sort of 1. I think since 5 is greater than 0, it is just converted to 1 by Python, and then it evaluates it as false. So I hope I've cleared that doubt. Yeah, Rudranil, you can just type in the chat yes, or you can ask me again. I'll be happy to explain it to you again.
Okay. So I think one more person is asking. I
Yeah.
think Monabar is asking, can we compare strings and Boolean?
Yeah, you can compare. Sure, you can actually, as I said, Python doesn't want to give you errors, so we'll just try this. Okay, no, it's not. Yeah, not supported instances of Boolean string. So Boolean strings cannot be compared. You are getting to the extremities of what Python can do. So this is even uncharted territory for me as well. Yeah, so um, yeah, so I think that since a string cannot be represented as a Boolean value, no matter what we do, so it can be compared because 5 we can interpret it as either true or false because it's greater than 1. So that's why I think we can compare Boolean and strings. Okay, so Rudra
Similarly,
needs to.
Monabur had one more question, that can we compare integer or float?
Yeah, integer and float are definitely comparable, I'm pretty sure. But I'll just show it to you. So 5 is greater than, say, 6.7. So it's going to say false. So the thing is, these will only work if there's some sort of type conversion. So it should be possible for the interpreter to convert 5 and either it will convert 5 to a floating point or it will convert 6.7 to an integer, which is very easy. You just have to get rid of the decimal place or you have to put a decimal place there. But with strings it's different. You can't just strings are a very special data type in programming. Only with the advent of Python and modern programming languages is that we are easily able to do string operations. In older programming languages like C and C++, it used to be very difficult. Like just in C, if we had to accept a string of characters with a space bar, we couldn't use it. We couldn't do it with the built-in function scanf. We had to write a separate program that accepted character by character. So strings is it's very difficult to interpret in bytes and bits because you have to first map the zeros and ones to each character. Suppose A, then these have to be mapped into sentences, and then these have to be stored in some sort of array like this. So it's very difficult to represent and do string operations, but not with Python. Python is very easy to use. I know I keep bringing that point up, but it's only because that's the essence of Python, that it's easy to use and understand. Okay, with that out of the way, I hope I've cleared all the questions and doubts. Yeah. Okay, so we're done with Boolean expressions. So now I'll just do a recap of what we have done today. So first we talked about Python. So Python is a general purpose programming and scripting language. Yeah, I told you that I'll be explaining you what a scripting language is. So scripting language is a language which is executed line by line. So as I said that Python is an interpreted language, and interpreted language means that it is executed line by line. So it is a scripting language, but I think it's kind of a derogatory term for Python being a scripting language because it's so because it's actually a general purpose programming language. You can literally build anything, you can do anything with that. So I only like referring to Python as a general purpose programming language. Okay, then we talked about Python features, that it's very easy to learn and use. It is an interpreted language, that is, it is executed line by line. It is open source, free to redistribute, free to develop, free to license, and then it has a large support for libraries. There are lots of libraries for Python that you can use and build functions with, and it's cross-platform. Then it is very user friendly and it can support many applications. The only downside is that it is slow, and that's again because it is an interpreted language, and because of the line by line execution, the each line has to be sent to the CPU, then the CPU executes it, then another line is sent. So that is time consuming, and that is why Python is slower than most programming languages. Okay, then we talked about how to install Python. You can go to python.org and you can download the latest version, or you can just download Pycharm IDE that you can use to uh, develop Python programs. Okay, we are skipping this. Yeah, we talked about Python variables. So variable is any memory location that can store a value. It can store an integer or it can store a string. A string is nothing but it is a sequence of letters that may not make any sense. So welcome to being that term that makes sense to us, but it might as well be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It doesn't matter. So string is nothing but a string. It is a sequence of characters, and variables can store integers. It can store floating point numbers. It can store strings. It can also store Boolean values, and there are some other data types that we don't have to care about right now. Then I didn't talk about Python keywords. So Python keywords are they are words that mean something to the Python interpreter, and so you can't use these words in your program. So you can't name a variable else because it means something special to the interpreter. So without these words, the interpreter can't understand what we are trying to tell to the computer, and so it won't do our work. Okay, so keyword it just they are just special words which convey a special meaning to the interpreter compiler. And I think in Python we have around 36 keywords. Yeah, and also about the variables, you can name your variable anything. It can be A, it can be B, and you can even use numbers in naming your variable, but you can't start your variable name with a number. So suppose I want to name a variable, yeah, suppose I want to name a variable 76 lol, something like that, is equal to 3. So if I run this, it's gonna give me an error that it's invalid syntax. Okay, so you should always have a practice to always name your variable in small letters. You can also use capital letters, it's up to you, but it's just a good habit if you do it in small letters for better readability. And you can also start with an underscore, even though it's not recommended, but you can use underscore anywhere else. Something lol hi, if you say, you can do this. So you can use underscore, you can use letters, and you can use numbers, but you cannot start with a number. Yeah, so with that done, keywords done. Yeah, so I talked about data types. That is, you don't have to worry about this, you just have to know integer, float, and boolean values. I talked about operators. So operators, and they follow PEMDAS, that is parenthesis, exponential multiplication, and division, and addition and subtraction. Yeah, and the operators we have in Python are arithmetic operators like these, and we have conditional operators that are less than, greater than. Wait, it's not here. Yeah, so yeah, these less than, greater than, double equal to, not equal to. So these are conditional operators. Again, operators are special symbols that mean something to the interpreter. So greater than means that the interpreter wants to check if 5 is greater than 6.7. So as soon as the interpreter reads this, it knows that what it has to do. So that's what operator is. Operator is um, it tells the interpreter or what to do. Yeah, so that's done. Okay. Yeah, so that's all that we have seen up to this point. I've given you a quick uh, recap of what we did today. So yeah, and we also talked about functions, of what a function is. So print is a function, int is a function. We talked about what are parameters. So parameters are what we give to the function so that it can perform what it is supposed to perform, and then it returns us something. So we set up an analogy with making tea, such that tea leaves and water are the ingredients, and we can think of them as the parameters. And what we get in return is tea. That is, we get the tea, and that is the result we were getting. We were getting 20. Okay, so we talked about functions. I think I've covered everything, right, up to what I talked about. If I left something, please tell me. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Is there something that you want a recap of? Anyone?
Yeah, anyone, if there's even a slightest doubt that you have, or you're curious about something, I'll be happy to explain to you. Okay, so apparently not. Okay, so we are almost done with the basic stuff. This is very basic. Now we are gonna actually use all this to solve problems and build some build programs that actually do some stuff. Till now, we have only seen basic input output and how operators work. But I'm planning to not planning like we are gonna next we are gonna use all these concepts to actually build something that's gonna work and that's gonna give a definite output. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. I'll just give you what we're gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna recap this same stuff again, just for a quick refresher, and then I'm gonna teach you about. I'm gonna take you through, rather take you through arrays. So arrays is very important. So till now we have only seen how we are storing variables in memory in a single location, right? So suppose this was y and we were storing 7 here. Suppose we want to store many variables in the same place. So we're going to see how we are going to do that using arrays and lists. Then we are also going to talk about dictionaries. Then we're going to talk about the control statements, that is if else. Then we're going to take a look at loops. So tomorrow is going to be it's going to be really interesting. Today was just the basic stuff, just so that everyone, even the guys who didn't know much about programming, they can get on the same page with us. Tomorrow we're gonna do like 2 or 3 programs, I think. That's gonna showcase that's gonna showcase the actual strength of Python. Yeah. And now I would like if anyone wants to talk about anything, it doesn't have to be about Python on programming. You can talk to me about anything.
Yes, guys. So Shivam is not from a programming branch. He is from mechanical. So I think it's been 4 years since he has been doing engineering. Are there any people who are not from computer science who have joined the session today? Is there anyone from other branch? Okay, so I don't think there is anyone from any other branch from apart from CS. But still, Shivam, can you? Yes, we have
Okay,
Devdeep.
Dev is from
So
ESE. Yeah.
yes, I want you to please tell us how difficult has it been, or how easy it is to take to carry forward your interest in learning programming along with your own core subject studies. Like, how did you manage both of them?
Yeah, thanks, Neha. So I had an interest in computers since I was a kid because I like playing games. Let's be honest, everyone likes playing games. So in my plus two, I took computer science with maths and chemistry and physics because I wanted to learn how the computer works. So, but in unfortunately, I couldn't continue that interest in my stream in engineering. But that didn't stop me from learning what I wanted. But still, I can understand that it's very difficult for anyone for to learn non-core stuff, the stuff that you're learning in college. Similarly, for even for CS and IS guys, I can imagine that they just can't wake up and start learning mechanical stuff, right? So the way you do that is you just carry that interest, and the pandemic really helped. Like I had so much free time, I could just focus on what I wanted. So and also I would like to give this. I would just like to advise you all that you don't that the way that you're gonna progress in career is through projects. Please focus all your attention into building projects. That's how I learned most of Python and the programming languages that I've known is through projects. Every year we have this project competition in our college, and I only build projects in coding. So so if you build projects that gives you a real life like practical way of solving problems and how you can approach to problems and how do you solve them and how you actually learn is through projects. And if you feel like you can't learn uh, through projects because you don't know the fundamentals, then let me tell you there are like endless number of platforms and stuff that gives you fundamental knowledge, which I'll be linking to you maybe today or today in the group or because I totally forgot about this. But you can go to Coursera. Coursera is literally free. You only have to pay for the certificate. So if you just want to learn, you can go on Coursera. Then there are so many books. There are tutorials on YouTube. There's coding with Mosh and yeah, Rudran, we can hear you. Okay, okay, he's asking a question. Okay, so tomorrow also we are starting at 11. Rudran.
Yes, so tomorrow's session is going to be from 11, and day after tomorrow, that is on
So
Monday, we
can I
will
say one
have.
thing?
Yes, Somnath, please go on.
Shivam sir, how you manage everything? Because whenever we are appearing for college, the academic pressure is so high, and
Yeah, it
mechanical
is.
is not a
The
big deal.
the way you handle it is by not handling it, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's not like that. Mechanical. I don't think it's very easy. I don't think it is relatively easier. It
Yes,
just depends on.
because in my first year we have a mechanical drawing, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's. It's actually one of the more interesting subjects for me, engineering drawings. But I can understand if you don't like it. But let me show you something regarding that. So yeah. So you see this.
Shivam, sorry to interrupt you, but I think
Yeah.
people are leaving. I have two announcements to make. So, if you allow
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
two
Sure.
minutes,
Sure,
I'll be
Neha. Yeah.
really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, we have a good news for you. So, Google Developer Student Club Techno International Batanagar is now a community partner of uh, NIT Rourkela's flagship event called Hack NITR 3.0. This is the third year running of this event, and this is an amazing event. So, we are a community partner, and the students from our community can participate in this hackathon. As Shivam has right now just said that if we keep on building projects, that is where we would learn a lot. So this is, I think, a great start for that. So if any one of you are interested in participating in this hackathon, that is Hack NITR, you can just come to this website. I'll share this in the link in the chat so that you can just go on and so, yes, and here you will have to make day folio profile. After you do that, while you are applying, there is one referral code for you guys that would make sure that you are from our community, so that you don't go nameless there. You should have a community behind you. So the referral code is GDSC I would ask my moderators to please share it in the chat as well, so that they can go and register in it. Here we have few tracks, and you will have to build projects on these tracks, but they have also kept it very independent and open. Even if you have some other idea for some other project that is aiming something different other than these four tracks, you can also make a project, and you will get a chance to win a lot. You can see the all the sponsors of this event, that is MLH, we have GitHub, we have Dayfolio, and we have a lot more sponsors here. So you will be getting a chance to win goodies, and you will enjoy it. It's their flagship event, and it's been running for 3 years now. Last year they had more than 1500 participants. Can you imagine? They had more than 1500 participants. So this year we have also got a chance to be a part of this hackathon. So make sure, if you are interested, you can go and register on this platform, and after that you will get all the sufficient information that you may need to move forward. So here is all you can do. And apart from that, other than that, we also have one more event coming up, that is Devfest. But first of all, let me ask, how many of you have heard about Devfest? I'm sure you must have heard about it. Is there anyone who has heard about Devfest?
I mean, Devfest means some coding competition.
Yes, yes. You are approximately right. So, Devfest is basically, a festival that is brought together by Google developer groups, not by Google Developer Student Club, but by Google developer groups. And you can register on it. I would ask my moderators to again share the link of DevFest. So DevFest is happening on 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of October. So that is, I think it's quite soon. So you will get to be a participant this time. And what you can do is you can fill the form here, and when you are at this position, that is which community are you are associated with, you can select others, and after selecting others you can come up here and write Google Developer Student Club. Okay, then you have the other fields that you need to fill. So the thing with this is that while you are filling with this, if they prompt you to enter the name of the community, remember to enter Google Developer Student Club Techno International Batanagar, so that you can be associated with the community. Because since this is brought together by the Google developer groups, so that is why we have the others here. Once you select others, you will have to enter the name of the community, that is Google Developer Student Club Techno International but another. Once you do that, you have to select Google Developer Student Club, and the rest all the fields are self-explanatory. You can fill it by your own, and that is how you will be a part of DevFest this time. So here also we have 4 tracks. Yes, no, we have 5 tracks here. We have Android, we have web development, we have machine learning, we have cloud, and we have Flutter technologies. So here, what they will be doing is they will conduct some workshops, and there is a lot more than just conducting workshop. There will be upskilling. That is, you will get to learn a lot from the experts, the Google experts who have been working this technology, and it may happen that they were the part of the team that developed that technology. Apart from that, you will get to network with these experts, you will get to connect with them. Apart from that, you will also have job announcements, and all of this is going to be summed up by goodies. So there will be some competitions, some quizzes, very simple quizzes that you can participate in, and you can get a chance to win goodies as well. So these are the 2 events that I had to inform you about. The first one being HackNITR. This is by NIT Rourkela, and after that we have DevFest. This is by Google Developer Group. And if you face any issue in the registration process, feel free to ping us. And now the group settings have also been changed to everyone, so you can answer put on your queries there as well. So I think I have made it clear from my side. Is there any question regarding this? Okay, I think we are good to go, and I hope that there would be maximum participants from our community in both the cases. And if you have friends who also want to participate in any of these 2 events, just share the link. I think both the events are going to be amazing, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity for all of you to learn and earn as well. So there will be job opportunities announcement as well in case of DevFest. So make sure you become a part of this. So I think that was it from my side. Now, Shivam, you can continue with whatever you were explaining.
Yeah, so I think we're done with today. I hope you all come tomorrow, and we'll be having lots of fun tomorrow, since we'll be actually building code, not like today. Today was just the basics to get a feel of how Python works. So yeah, can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Also, it was fun interacting with you all today, and I would like to thank GDSC it's really an honor, and also you guys really have an awesome lead in Neha. So yeah, yeah, that's all. That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Shivam. And thank you so much, Shivam, again for being the instructor of this workshop. This was day one and we had fun. Did we have fun, guys? Can we
Yes.
know if we had fun? Yes. So stay tuned. More of such workshops are coming. And till then, we have the second day of uh, this Get Set Python as well. I will request you know, Shivam, that if you have any follow up materials, you can also send it in the group. He is available in our WhatsApp group as well. So you can ask him. I'm also going to share his number just in case you have any queries that you want to ask him personally or anything he can assist you with, you feel. And apart from that, it would be much better if you ask the queries in Discord. I think I have made a separate channel for data science. That is where we can also accommodate the queries for Python. So if you have any queries, you can ask there, or also you can ask us in the WhatsApp group. Shivam will definitely try to help you, and you guys would figure out something together. So that was it from our side. Do you have any questions, queries, suggestions, anything that you want to share like all other times?
Yeah, one more thing. Actually, I wanted to link lots of material today, but I got lost in presenting and I totally forgot about that. But I'll link all that material in the group and I'll make sure that it reaches all you guys. Yeah, that's all. And yeah, Neha can continue.
Okay, thank you so much, Shivam. We'll be looking forward to that material. So, is there anything else you guys want to add, or should we end this session? Okay, so I don't think there is anything else that you want to add. So, thanking my core team for making this event possible again. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined in today. It was fun. I know that Puja is approaching, and we all are totally vibing with the festivities and everything going on. But still, I was happy to see so much of participation. I would just say that you guys just amaze me. You are enthusiastic learners indeed, and I am happy to be a part of this community, which is so eager to learn. And all the questions that you ask us in the chat and WhatsApp group and everything, this just motivates us to bring more. Apart from that, if you also have expertise in something, feel free to drop a message to me so that I can know that you have an expertise in something and you can help others in the community. Like you can take a session on that, or you can maybe conduct some workshop. So feel free to do that. I keep telling this in every session, and I think that is how a community should process. So if you feel that you have expertise in something and you want to share it with other community members, feel free to tell me. I will definitely figure something out for you. My core team is also there. They are dedicatedly working for making all the events of GDSC live. So thank you so much again, everyone, for joining, and hope to see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye everyone. Have a nice day.